want to start?
Donna Davis, Budget Committee Representative.
All right, John Decker, Select Board Rep.
Charlotte Fife, community member.
Jean Reed, community member.
Susan Levinson, school board rep.
Ellen White, town administrator.
All right, and we're still missing Planning Board.
Correct.
Okay. Does anybody have any comments on the meeting minutes from July 15?
On line 56, it's got and RFP. So we just change that.
You want to do what with this, Sue?
Just on line 56,
See it?
Yeah.
just take the and out, but
Just get rid
But
of
the
the,
Oh,
proper-
and, I see, yeah, grammatical.
it's just,
scratch the D.
On line 15, I'd like to be referred to as either Charlotte, Mrs. or Ms., but not Mr.
Yes. Good call. All right, anything else?
You good, Sue?
yes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the July 15th Capital Improvement Plan Committee meeting with the correction of the minor typo on line 56, where it currently says and RFP, and it should say and RFP.
And line 15.
Line 15, please, I beg you.
Oh, I'm sorry, and, no, I'm okay with that. And line 15, where our member Charlotte Fife is referred to as Mr. Fife, and it should be Ms. Fife.
Can we get a second?
I second that.
All right, all in favor?
I,
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, passes, unanimously. All right, what's next on our agenda? All right, so we got a bunch of handouts, so we can review them in any particular order.
So I just have one question, like, we got the school stuff all in advance, which is great.
Yeah,
Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Sue.
Do we think, since we've got an hour and a quarter, do we think we're gonna get through everything in front of us? Or do we want to pick either town or school, or want to just go for it and see how far we get?
Why don't we start with school and see how far we get?
Okay.
Because yes, you're right, we have limited time. All right. What do we got? Shoot, I wish I had the other, actually. I don't have that stuff in front of me. Draft. All right, so let's, here. So 2025, the AC dehumidifying units, hybrid attic classroom air handlers. There's 4 of them. Should come from the revolving fund. It's $142,555.
Hey, Sue, so it's 4.
There are a total of 10, and they're in different locations on the roof. We've done some already. We just recently did a couple more, and so we'd like to finish that project.
That's.
They're creating issues with the, in some locations in the school, particularly over the gym, where the base of them isn't completely tight, so it creates some leakage, and we've had some floor damage. So we just want to move through, and
Yeah.
those have been on our plan for a bit, and we'd like to get them cycled through and complete.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get that done.
All right, so that was, because there was 87,000 last year, that took care of, what'd you say?
We took some off, yes, so that 87 moved off, and then we're putting in the additional 4.
Does that take care of all of them, or?
I think we
Some
might
outstanding.
have two more, I'll double check.
Because if this, right, so if we did 4 already,
We
4
did,
more.
this could be it, I'll double check.
All right, just because I don't know if we need to add something for,
You know what, I think this is it. This is it, otherwise we'd have more, so. We went through this conversation, and I can't remember if we had two hanging, but I don't think so.
So the 87 was,
We had some air handlers we're doing now.
so the 87 was spent?
Yeah.
Or is being spent,
Yeah.
okay.
and that's, so they either went up a lot,
It went up, yeah, it did go up.
I mean, it's like almost double.
Yeah, and what we paid more than the 87 as well. I can get you those exact numbers.
Okay. Oh, that's.
For what we
that's
currently
fine.
did.
If, so 87 was the estimate, it would cost more than that.
Right.
And the plan is to budget more. Okay.
To be more accurate with what we've actually had to pay.
All right.
So does that go before the voters?
It will depend how we decide to do it, if we want to use a warrant article. Right now, we are planning on using the capital reserve fund, and we've provided a sheet with those balances. And then, if that is the case, the board can do that. It does meet the criteria for the capital reserve fund as it was created.
So that note perhaps should be on this sheet then as well? Because we cover it with another item with the CRF.
On which sheet are you?
This is the proposed by department head.
Can we see that? What do you,
It's the worksheet.
Okay,
That's like the old one, right?
that's the old one.
yeah.
This was August 19th, 2024.
It wasn't, I didn't have the school
Yeah, I
information.
turned
Oh,
the
you
stuff
did.
in on Saturday.
So what I'm saying is then,
Yeah.
should that be there in
It will
future?
be
Yeah,
incorporated in
it'll have
later.
to be added in for the 2025.
Oh, okay, you're talking about the.
CRF.
Sorry,
Yeah,
this one here.
right.
So if you're looking at the one,
Yeah, so that's-
worksheet that Sue provided us.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is really just the town stuff, Gene.
Oh, okay, so it's,
It's the cover of this thicker packet.
This also hasn't been updated because it was supposed to go to.
gotcha, okay, thank you, got it now.
It's a lot of paper.
But this is just the same we looked at last
It's
time.
correct, except I did update so that it reflected what was approved or not approved in '24.
Okay.
So it does. It's just a working document that we can go on from here
Okay.
forward.
Okay.
All right.
And then as we get farther along and firm up, we'll incorporate everything.
So the second thing is the administrative space renovations.
Hey, one question, Sue, just, so for the things that you have flagged or are flagging for coming out of the capital reserve fund, is that based on an assumption that there'll be the same funding every year? As
Yeah,
what
we
we've
had put through some estimates on that, on the very back page, I believe. So, right now, if you look at it, you can see what we're estimating, and they are flat.
Got it, okay. Yeah, you
It's
actually-
the very last page.
You actually put that in the worksheet that you sent as well. That's cool, thank you.
What are we looking at? The last
So for the
page?
second, for 20,
Base and renovation?
26, I've got the 75 and the 2.5. And so the building, there are two items there, and in terms of priority, we put the building as number one. The status on that is that we put out an RFP. There were some stipulations in the RFP that we felt potentially closed it up too much. And when we saw the response that we received, it didn't answer, it was responsive to the RFP, but there were some unknown questions that we wanted to have answered around what the excluded items were going to cost, and that's around the base and the foundation and those hookups and everything, which could be material. So the board looked at that, asked for some changes to the RFP, and that should be out. I'm going to double check on that, but we were hopeful that that would be out, and because we're concerned about timeline.
Yeah.
So wait, I'm sorry, that was the prefabricated
Yes,
addition?
yep. So we're looking for another response on that. We should have it in about 3 weeks, and then we'll check it.
Sounds like, so did that just go to the people that responded, or?
We only had one response for the initial. We have, as part of our practice, we have a short list of vendors that will automatically get a list, but we also ensure that it goes out into the union leader and has a wider reach, and we're using Sourcewell as well, a company that can push it further. So we're looking to hit as many opportunities as we can.
As many bids as you can. And Susan, I'm sorry, am I understanding this correctly, that this goes hand in hand with the renovation of the SAU offices?
So-
You'll be moving them out of where they are and hopefully into,
We have a 5-year lease with the SAU. We had sent in $50,000 to help with the renovation, worked in conjunction with the town. So one of the things we need to be considering is we need space within the school to have some offices. So at our conversation on the 15th, we talked about maybe some renovation to the current office space in the school as you go in to the right, looking at something like that. But because we're missing classrooms for some of the grades, we don't have the 3, if you put the new build out behind, then you're gonna have some renovations on the interior, and so there are things that can be moved around. And we're hopeful that we can just consolidate, because we're a single district, we're not a separate SAU and school district, it's just all Nottingham School District. I think we've got 2 years left on the current lease, and it's something that we need to talk with the town about. You know,
right,
the Board of Selectmen as well. Maybe we can continue there, but we think that we should be prepared to try to integrate everything.
yeah, okay, great, thank you.
Has that been working? I mean,
SAU where it is?
the leasing the space over here has been working.
Yeah, it's been great, I think.
Yeah.
I think they did a fabulous job on it. We walked through it, while it was happening, and it turned out, you saw it, right? You see-
Well, yeah, I've been in after. I went
After.
after it was done.
Yeah.
Well, I went before it started and after it was done, not in between.
That was wise.
It was a lot of work when you went in there before it was started. That was something.
Oh, yeah.
So, again, I just want to make sure I understand. So, if the prefab building got approved, then you would have enough space over at the school to move the administrative offices over there by reconfiguring the existing office space.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But if the prefab didn't get approved, then you wouldn't be able to take that approach of redoing existing office space.
I think it would be harder. I would still be looking to maybe do something in the office to see what we can do there.
Yeah,
So-
okay.
Yeah, I guess my concern would just be having enough space to have privacy, and so many SAU offices are outside of the school. You think, but you'd have enough room, hopefully?
Well, I mean, it's all Nottingham School District, and so
Well,
those
that's- yes.
services are all, Nottingham School District. You certainly have, some confidentiality concerns, particularly around your student services, but one of the things that we did do that we feel very happy about, and we think it's a benefit to our students, which is our main goal, is our student service director, who used to be up in Northwood and do 3 districts, is now sitting
Here, I know.
in the school building. So we have files and so forth that are confidential, but we manage them at the school properly. And we have that high touch now, with a person that can really work and focus on our kids.
And I don't want to belabor it, but I'm a little bit concerned about where the SAU is now, just because of septic and plumbing issues. I'm not sure
I don't
where
know
that's
about
at.
that.
So
but
there's been some plumbing issues, and I don't
I think the plumbing issues are resolved now. It's just, we are aware that the septic is just a holding tank.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yes, that's cool.
I mean, it doesn't have a lot of capacity.
So it gets
Those ones
pumped.
is pumped pretty frequently. Well, at least the library will be straightened out, that's good. Thank you, thank you.
Based on one response, are you reassured that 2.5 is a good number, or?
We're hopeful that it is. The piece that's concerning are the items that were excluded. And so it all goes to those outside connections, you know, connecting into your plumbing, connecting into electricity, the whole bit of it. Yeah, so,
What was the dollar amount they came in at then?
I think it was like 1.9. I can bring that, I didn't bring it.
Well, that's okay,
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
It was under 2, but there were a lot of items that we just weren't sure where.
So we can build towards that 2.5 based on the things they didn't
Right.
know that they had to respond to.
Well, right, or we can understand to whom we need to go to get those additional pieces.
And you expect that in another month
In
or
about
so?
3 weeks, yeah, hopefully.
So the revised RSP's been sent out?
We talked about that on the 15th, and we're hopeful, I haven't officially gone to look at that, but the plan was that it would be gone,
Soon.
yeah.
And that will appear on the,
That's a bond, so if that is something that we determine, and we have the runway, you know, time-wise to do it, then that will be a bond, and it will have to go to the voters, and it will need a 2/3.
oh, really?
I believe it needs a 2/3.
So that wouldn't be on this year's, we wouldn't see that on the ballot until,
It would go into that we're hoping to put it on the ballot in March.
March.
And that means that you could do stuff starting in July with that,
So
In March?
would be on the next town ballot.
yes. You can see we're running into a little bit of a timeline issue, because you need 3-4 weeks for each of these RFPs. And we've already done one, now we're doing a second,
Yeah, here we are.
so.
Okay, thank you.
What's this? Just a quick question on the air handler. The submission form,
Oh, the form, okay.
should that be, it looks like the 87,000 is,
That 87 should come off, I saw that typo, sorry.
I mean, that should equal the 142,555, right?
Right.
I can understand the form, right?
That's on this sheet, John? That's a-
This,
It's on this.
Oh, I see, oh, yeah, on the
Yeah.
underlying supporting document.
yeah,
Yeah, I tried to put them in the same order they were on the top
But-
spreadsheet.
yes, appreciated. So that's bond, others, impact fees, so part of that,
And a lot of these things on the roof actually predate the building. The building was built in 95, 96, and the serial numbers on some of these units on the roof predate that.
well, yeah, because they're,
Manufactured
Yeah,
prior to,
yeah, by like 10 years.
yeah, they've been sitting in.
oh, by 10 years.
Right,
Oh,
'cause
wow,
they,
that
because they
seems-
sit in inventory for so long, and they just,
Wow.
yeah, that happens all the time.
Really, yeah.
It's like my original furnace in my house, like, predated my house by like 10 years.
Wow, that's much more than I would have thought.
Something to look out for us.
And we should have asked you right away, because when we first heard that, when I was looking at that, I'm thinking, oh my God, we bought refurbished units and but it's not the
Oh, they
case.
just
The architects knew that, yeah.
They sit in inventory or
Yeah, because they're
It
made.
wasn't-
for 10 years?
No such thing as just in time, apparently, back in the,
No, they,
Why did I go to get an MBA, right?
yeah.
Interesting. So they're losing money on them by just having them sitting there.
One would
think
think.
so in
So how about the
Florida.
replacements? We're running into the same thing with the replacements?
I know, I didn't check the serial numbers on it, so, I hope not. I think
Make a field
inventory
trip to the
management
roof.
has changed in the last decade or so.
Yeah.
So you didn't climb up on the roof? and-
Yeah.
Well, then,
there you
this-
go.
They were still new, quote.
Yes,
Right,
Yes.
right. and
They hadn't been used, right.
And whatever warranty takes
Yes,
place
yes.
starting when it's installed.
Yeah. Yeah. But
it's just
still,
shocking at first when you
It
see it,
is.
until you know,
Yeah.
until you learn.
All right, so then 75 for that one. Okay, so that takes care of that and that.
So So paving. Are we on to paving?
It looks like we're on the
So,
paving. Paving,
So Sue, just one thing, the sheet says 50, worksheet says 50, and then the form itself says 48.
I'll follow up. We made a lot of adjustments, so let me look. Okay, I think it should be 50. 50 is where all my handwritten,
Yep.
so.
so that's 50 for,
So the assumption is that this is all gonna be done at the same time?
We had pushed the patching, the tarred areas around the school and paving out, so we weren't so heavy in '26, so we had pushed that out to '27.
So I see 50 for the paving, the road and the sidewalks around the building.
Right.
27, and then the main parking lot.
And then the 185, right.
And 27 as well.
Yep.
Yep.
would the construction be completed by then?
The feeling is that that would be complete, because it's not going to be a stick-built,
Right,
so,
should be
it'll just be,
relatively fast.
yeah.
or so we think at this time. We'll see what that final estimate looks like, and
Then repave the main parking lot.
that's something they've been asking for a bit, and we've pushed it off because we wanted to kind of do it as a button-up
Yeah.
after everything, because you start paving stuff and making it nice, and then it starts getting rolled over by everything, and
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. So the roof needs to be shingle. It's the pitched roof. That's only the front, right?
I'm sorry?
The pitched roof is only,
the pitched roof is over the classroom, and then that middle section over the administrative pieces.
all right, so it says over the classroom wing itself, and then over the administrative section.
The middle piece, yeah, and then
The
the,
hallway going through is flat.
yeah, with the library and everything. You've got a kindergarten classroom, and, so you do have classrooms in that area as well.
Right, but, yeah, when you said the classroom,
Yeah.
I knew you meant the classroom wing, so the left wing with
So
the
like,
majority of the classroom.
center left, and then we had already done over the gym. We just completed that last
That
summer.
was a flat roof.
Yep.
And this hasn't been done yet, right? At
No,
all?
that's original to the building. We have done some things up in the eaves and so forth to improve air quality and to try to stop moisture and so forth and ice dams. So we have done that work, some years back to try to stretch the life of the roof and make sure it's not getting damaged with ice and so forth, so.
How big is that area? It seems like a lot.
It does seem like a lot, but.
Check,
don't
I mean,
think
it's
very
for the
expensive.
price, the two,
The 248?
They're not putting any new
So
underlayment
again,
or anything.
Sue,
under
there's
it.
a
Yep.
different number on the worksheet.
the
worksheet-
1085,
Well, the worksheet actually shows total 217,
yep.
with 108 coming from warrant article and
I'll
one,
check it.
yeah, coming from cap reserve. But then the total is 217 on the sheet.
Yep.
So none of the paving right now, then?
The paving, none of that is,
Okay. I'm with you now.
so far my follow-up items are the discrepancies between the two items.
Yep.
And I'm gonna say the 50 is what that should be, as opposed to the 48, because that's everything I've got in my manual notes, my written stuff.
Then, next thing you're looking at is a kiln.
I would like to change the language on the kiln write-up. Basically, we already have a kiln, we've had it from day one, and it supports the kids doing, you know, obviously pottery work and everything, and that's something that we value. This kind of reads like we're trying to add to the curriculum, but really, we just want to continue to support that. The kiln is aging, and so that's the issue for it. We're trying to get in front of it before it's too far out. And they enumerate some of the issues mechanically with it.
Just say replace or repair.
He's, just out of curiosity, what grades use this?
I think they used all of the, probably the older grades more so, but I don't think there's really, I would imagine, obviously preschool and
Like the
kindergarten
six,
probably
seven,
aren't,
eight
but,
classes, 7, 8.
yeah. I think usually what happens in that curriculum is you start out using your hands and you use the coils and you put together the slabs, and then you progress to using, but they probably fire even some of that stuff that they make by hand.
Yeah.
Thought so.
Yeah, the first line of the narrative says the purchase and installation of a kiln
Yeah.
would allow the department to enhance.
Yeah, I would like to change that, because
Yeah.
we know we already have it.
Yep.
It's already situated. I think you all know where it is.
Right.
It's in the art room. And that's one of the big reasons too, when we made some changes, to try to get extra space for some of the support services that we are required to provide. There was a thought to take the art room and do it and end the art room, but we didn't because of the kiln. So we ended up using our computer lab and repurposing that.
And as the kiln is aging, I imagine it's hard to get the parts and all too.
They did say that it becomes hard, and apparently there are different types of kilns now versus a manual. I don't think we're looking for anything super fancy or anything. I know we're not, but we just like to be able to maintain the offerings that we have. And I think, Donna, to your question, as I think about it more, I think anytime you glaze, that's pretty much when you're firing. So even some of the hand stuff that's done by the younger grades would probably hit the kiln.
Yep, yep.
Will that fit into the operating budget, given the restrictions that we have on budgeting?
In terms of.
47,000 for the kiln,
Would-
will be a line item on the budget?
The school, but
That's what we're planning. So you figure if you're doing some maintenance in the school and.
Maybe under a line item, maintenance or something, be
Yeah, you
added into a
probably would put
line
it in-
item. Not a particular, I'm not suggesting that it be a single line item.
Yeah,
It'd
I
be
think it would be
incorporated in something.
somewhere incorporated in the building lines.
Sure, we'll have more discussions about the budget restrictions.
Well, I mean, restrictions, yes, but the school doesn't have
the same.
4% cap like the town
Oh, I'm
does.
sorry,
Right.
I forgot about
Yep,
that.
Yep.
We have been
You've been good.
following it.
Yeah,
you've
exactly.
been good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're doing our best to do it.
I'm not gonna dig into that yet. We'll have more discussion about that on Thursday, if you're able to attend the training.
On what
Yes.
day, Thursday?
Thursday.
Thursday night.
It's that
When New
time.
Hampshire Municipal will be here to do.
Right, I got the message, yeah. Thursday evening, isn't it?
Yeah, 7 PM,
Yeah. Here.
correct.
We're actually, thank you so much for that.
Oh, I know, I'm
Appreciate
so
it.
appreciative. It's nice to have it come here.
Did you want, I'll be there, or I won't be there, attendance thing?
No, I'm just gonna plan for full attendance from the 3 committees. It's the Board of Selectmen, the CIP, and the Budget Committee, and then a few additional members from the school board. So, I'm just gonna plan accordingly, and if
So we can
I'm
do,
not sure,
you can,
we'll be able to
you
spread.
can fit it?
Yeah.
Good.
We can fit 77 supposedly in this
Oh,
room,
yeah,
so we're
yeah.
gonna get creative.
7? Well, it does have an extra outside door, so
Wow.
that makes a huge
Well,
difference.
This takes a lot.
Yes.
I'll try to set it up classroom style.
Oh, that would be awesome.
I want
So you
the
have like,
cushion seat.
I think it's gonna be fantastic, and I think, you can still do September for the full day, but this will be
Right.
really great.
Yeah.
And we have new members on the board, so it's gonna be good for them too.
We'll be very specific to our questions.
Yeah,
Exactly.
very
It'd be great for
specific,
that.
and
It's
it's
such a
gonna be
large
really
group
nice.
when you go up to the state
Yep.
one every year. It was, yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is wonderful.
Yep,
Is there a charge for the state one?
There is.
yep.
And there's a charge for this too, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split it against all the departments
Okay.
for their training lines. I think it's like $500 to bring staff on
Oh,
to have the specialized training, but like I said, I'm just gonna utilize some of our,
But as Sue said, I think that
If
it's.
so, like,
split-
we have a meeting Wednesday, I can bring it to them,
Will it be recorded?
whatever we'd have
I
to
am
contribute.
recording it,
Oh, good.
I haven't asked permission, but I'm just going to, I'm not gonna air it to channel 22, but I'm gonna record it so we can go back and have it for reference.
Good, because I'm triple booked for
Okay.
Thursday.
Yeah.
So I think as long as I keep it, in-house and,
yeah, I would think that's
I'm
okay.
like triple booked.
I think the best thing about having it here, it can be specific to our questions also, but they run their sessions like on weekdays.
Yeah.
When most people are
During the
working,
day,
And
yeah.
it's full day.
and it's a full day, so it's really hard for a lot of people to get there.
Yeah. No, I'm very appreciative, and it's $100 per person, so 500 to do,
so, yeah.
that's
the more the
a
merrier.
bargain, yeah, for the town, yeah, yeah.
Did you say you were gonna, I'm sorry to get off topic, I thought you might have said that you'd have some more information on that?
Yeah, they're
A
supposed to-
syllabus or whatever you
Yeah,
call
they're
it.
supposed to send over the PowerPoint presentation in advance. I just don't know if it comes that day of or when, but
Okay.
I'll make sure that I forward it as soon as I receive it.
So we're on the solar panels?
Well, yeah, my question is there something that needs to be happening with them?
On the solar panels,
Yeah, 'cause there's a line there, but
so the assertion is that it would not cost anything. We want to put it in after the roof, obviously.
Yeah.
All the roofing is updated, and we need to explore this, so,
There's none there now?
Crunch the numbers a little bit, this.
I didn't think so.
and we do have community interest. We do have people coming to us talking about that, and I think it's something that's worth exploring. So we're putting it in there to note it, but I'm not sure it would be, I mean, I don't know about the free piece.
It's
Oh, I
hard.
know.
okay.
But what's going on with the town?
With the town solar panels?
Yeah.
I have to do some more research into it. So right now, they are on the CIP for purchase at $121,000. My understanding is that we're in a lease agreement, and if we choose to purchase them, 2025 would be the year that we do so.
Yeah. So it's not that it's free, it's that it's kind of like a deferred expense.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a lease, and then you have the
Right, so what, I guess my understanding is like the solar company has been able to absorb a lot of the revenue that we would have been receiving back as a result of leasing the panels to us. And when the town purchases them outside of the lease, then we receive all that additional generated revenue
Right.
from.
Yeah, but the
But
question,
we also have the maintenance end of it as well.
right, and they lose their integrity as they get older.
So that, I thought I had seen somewhere where you guys were questioning.
That's a good-
makes
that's-
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That
a
was my
lot of
question.
numbers crunching, I
Because
think,
as he
and
said,
over years.
they
yeah, it's-
degrade.
I'm not familiar with it, but my understanding is when you
Right.
make the initial purchase, you're better off to make the initial purchase and not get into the lease program, because that's
Right,
when you reap
that's-
most of the benefit of them.
That's
is
my
in the first.
understanding as well.
Yeah.
So what's the drop dead date?
I don't know, I'm not an expert, but
Yep.
it's just more of what I've kind of picked up.
Yeah,
Me
I
too.
knew they degraded, but if they continue to degrade, obviously, there's gonna be a
Right.
A
It's-
time.
At some point, yeah, you're not
Yeah, is it worth it?
generating any solar power, and
we'll be discussing this again.
I'm sure.
there's no damage to the roof, is there, when you're placing them or taking them off?
Yes, there is.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of people have had
Especially-
trouble, yeah.
Especially if it's a shingled roof.
Yeah.
So if you do a standing seam roof, they actually clip on those standing seams so that it doesn't cause.
Steel roof.
Right, the steel roofs, so that it,
Doesn't
you know, it
penetrate the
attach-
barrier.
Right, it doesn't poke holes through.
Thank you, Gene.
It doesn't poke
The
holes.
interpreter.
No penetration. But when you have the shingle roof, you basically just screw through it, and then you're patching it with like tar or something.
You're just asking for it to
Yeah,
deteriorate.
right, you're asking for it to actually start
I think
leaking,
they all leak eventually.
so.
Yeah, there's a lot to.
I mean, honestly, the best thing to do, go solar,
Separate.
is, right.
Set up a
one of those-
field, yeah.
One of those towers like out on Harriman Hill Road,
Oh, the
the
movable?
movable one.
Oh, yeah, there's
Those
one
are like the
on,
best things.
On the ground?
On Flutter Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it
Oh,
follows
yeah,
the
there's some
sun.
on Flutter Street too,
Yeah, Flutter Street.
Oh, that
Yeah.
big massive
Right by
place,
Susan Mooney's.
that big house, out behind Raymond High School.
Yes, that one. That
Yeah.
house, yeah, on,
It's like a $3 million house, and then they've got this huge thing.
right, and it just like rotates.
Worshipping the sun,
Throughout the day.
yeah. But
Okay.
Susan Mooney has one down here in Flutter Street, too. And that's, I get a good view of that every day.
Well, I think like anything, and this is where I think it's important to have planning, you gotta project plan these things and interface with each other. So if we're gonna do the roof, what kind of roof do you do to support it? Or if you don't even put it on the roof, where do you put it on the ground? So,
Right.
yeah.
And you gotta make sure your sun's good, there's a lot of trees around that school.
Yeah. Usually in
Yeah.
cleared
The
areas.
building itself is obviously the most open, or that
Yeah.
old soccer field,
Yeah,
Oh, that's,
but,
you should probably have some informational conversations ahead of it. Really start thinking about what it would look like and what it would mean.
all right, and then,
But
that's
I don't
why
think,
it's
I think we've
2030.
kind of knocked out the free notion.
That's gone.
so, I mean.
So not for now.
not for- Well, it's out in 2020.
it'll be
So-
here
so
before you
that's-
know it.
It's out in
Yeah.
2030.
When do you have it
Sorry,
plugged
2020.
in?
It's not that far away.
Oh, it's blank, yeah, future, after roof, for sure.
So after, right,
That may be a question, more current question is when the roofing company comes, ask them about the fact that you may be putting solar panels in.
Yeah, and what's the
I don't
best
know if they
thing?
can build mount points
right,
ahead of time.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a good
I
question.
mean, I guess it depends on what they're putting,
Shingles,
yeah, if they're
Flat.
putting shingles, how do you put,
I don't know, they've been there, I haven't. But I know roofs, one little leak, as Sue knows too, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So the generator, 180,000.
That's an estimate as well, and what we're hoping to do, I know there's some thought of, put the generator in, but, sooner, we'd like to wrap up some of the building deficiencies before we do that. We think it's prudent to do so.
well, and it makes sense because you need to know, you have to have your space available for your addition stuff or whatever.
Right,
And then the generator could go, instead of having to put a generator, then say, oh crap, it's in the
In
way.
the wrong place, yeah.
Right.
Especially if you're adding electric and plumbing and all. too.
yeah, I
Right
know.
along with that goes, when the modulars come, have them set up to accept a generator if it requires any, especially if it's on a pad. I don't
There's a
know.
lot of that. There's a lot of, the difference between prefabricated and modular, being on the pad, as you mentioned. We want to go with something that's more durable, that will not just be, a modular unit with a skirt around it. So we're looking at that kind of prefabricated piece.
So you can still get under it.
Yeah, so there's just a lot to think about
Yeah, amen.
with all of that. And the other thing is the fire codes, because the building that we contemplated for the almost 6 million or the 5 point, what have you, that was not officially touching the building. The architects designed that to be off. It appears to be touching, and you traverse through it as though it is, but it is not, and there's a firewall between it, so that they're separate units in the event of a fire. Otherwise, if you come in and you touch everything, you're gonna spend about $1 million or more.
It's fire
on-
suppression.
Yeah, on fire suppression.
Yeah, well, that is interesting.
Yeah, no, and that was, I think, a smart plan.
I was looking back at, I don't know where I was going through I'm getting rid of some of my paper, because it's, so many years of this stuff. But, Stratford, They did their addition several years ago. Our kids were still young in school, and they were using our gym. They paid $6 million for that. And that was an interior build, because their walls had started to become collapsing, but at that time, yeah,
Wow. Wow. That's
so.
fascinating. Well, it is like a game of Jenga.
And it was
isn't
similarly sized, I think, to what we were
It
thinking.
actually is.
It really is.
That's a
because
great
it-
description.
And it does, it can paralyze things because you're afraid to make, not afraid, but you know, you have to be so careful to make a decision, but see everything else that needs to come first. It's a lot.
And then there's still gonna be
Thank you
something
for-
that you didn't
There'll be something, right,
Right.
right, there'll be something.
Yeah, I mean.
But it's,
It's chess.
yeah, yes.
I like Jenga better.
I'm so low class, talking about Jenga.
Hey, so on the worksheet, there were lines for electrical, preschool, windows, and technology, Adam report. Is that numbers that you're waiting on?
I have notes here, so we had looked at, we would like some follow-up on electrical to know if there are any issues there. We are looking at potentially, we had an energy audit done, and that's mostly around the lighting, and we don't really see that as something that we want to do right now. The windows are a possibility. They've been on and off of the CIP. They are original to the school. So those are my notes. So I think that those are areas that are being explored and fleshed out a little bit
So
more.
there could potentially be
Yeah.
additional numbers
A
added?
little bit.
Yeah, okay.
What worksheet? Oh, just looking at further down the worksheet.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually looking at the electronic version that
Yeah.
came into
Yeah.
the book. Yeah.
Yeah, well, on the printed one too, we've got electrical, preschool, windows, and then technology/Adam report. Did you say this is going out live?
It's not on channel 22, it's just recording for the
And it
minutes
won't go-
transcription. It will eventually go on channel 22.
All right, we had a cybersecurity report that some things need to be worked on. So to the extent that some of it may be hardware and it meets the criteria, that may be out there, but a lot of it was practice.
Usage, practice. Is that what you mean?
IT
How you do
practice,
things?
yeah,
What's OP, operating budget?
yes.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we should just put LLB or something.
the preschool stuff. I mean, how does that fit in with like the addition?
So the addition right now is, what they're looking at, what the facilities committee was looking at was 4 additional classrooms. So that would address potentially the classrooms that do not have the 3 classrooms per grade. And then the 4th one could be potentially flexible. The preschool, what we did was, we went into the teacher's room, and we had already cut it in half and put some office space, so we just did it again. And so now we have a small area for copying, and then a very small, like, corridor almost, you know, those kind of kitchens that are just and so there's a sink and a fridge and a counter, and then the rest of it, we made into the preschool. Because when we came from SAU 44, we contributed 50% of the cost of the preschool. And then they needed to, kind of at the 11th hour, they said, you know, we think we should put the preschool, we'll move it. And so that's what happened, and they didn't have enough room to do it, so we had to find a place. But I still think that was well worth it, because busing costs and so forth for students that require it, and also for kids that are coming in, they're getting touch points to the next grade level, they're becoming familiar to the organization, and you can address things earlier, and it's cost effective to do it that way,
I
as
really
well as
like that.
beneficial to the kids.
I really like that. Is there a bathroom attached to that preschool?
Yep, yep.
So I just want to make sure I got what you said correct about the 4 classrooms. So 3 of the 4 would cover the grades that only have 2 versus 3 classrooms.
Right, so that's the plan, to have 3 classrooms out there. I think we could easily use 4, to be candid with you, but that's kind of the discussion point as we get these RFPs. There's a possibility, you just have to think about who you're putting out there and what age group, because they're gonna have to come in to access the nurse and things like that. And we want that enclosed walkway for security. We've conferred with the police chief, she's been fantastic, and she came to a meeting when we looked at the first RFP and, you know, shared her thoughts on security, so.
All right, so that's what the school has right now.
Did you come up with a school census? The current school census?
The enrollment?
Enrollment, yeah.
Yeah, I went out to the New Hampshire Ed, and I looked at several of their reports. I pulled some numbers together, and I'm gonna send those over to the SAU. I want them to look at them and make sure, because I found varying numbers on the New Hampshire Education Department, and it's simply because I think they have different columns and they're looking at things differently. I just want to make sure that we're using consistently the same things, so.
What was the acronym they used, student average days or something? What was
Oh,
that?
ADM,
ADM?
Yeah.
Average,
average daily membership. Yeah.
so that's to come.
Yeah, I should have that easily by the next meeting, and I'll send it out as soon as
How
I
about
get it.
projections?
We have some projections, which I can share, that came from NESDEC, and I believe they're already out on our website, but I can send those over as well.
And am I correct, Susan, just as a broad generalization, that it looks like the population will be going up in the school a bit, but not in a huge way?
The projections did show growth.
Yeah.
And it's based on the new builds that are going on in town. So you've had, and they look at like a 5-year trailing, because they figure when you move in, you may not have kids, but 5 years out, so they have formulas for it, but we have Maple Ridge, we've got the one over off of Ledge Farm, we have Deerfield Road is for sale. There's a big chunk of land for sale there with, yeah, I think it's 30 potential units there on Deerfield Road. So there has been a lot of building, and we'll just have to see. But I think the one over off of Case, I always forget, Maple Ridge,
Maple Ridge.
that's got a lot of houses.
The stuff that I referred to went out to 2050,
Mm-hmm.
and it showed an increase, but, you know, reasonable, and then kind of
Yeah.
flattening a bit.
Yeah, it wasn't crazy, but.
No, it wasn't crazy, but it was certainly not going down.
It's a difficult thing, as the past reports have shown.
Yes.
They had one year that was out of sight, yeah, and so it hurts the,
It's very difficult.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we do have, I think, some move-ins, because just over the summer, I have, the board has seen, I think it's 6 move-ins for high school.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
And that, at a tune of almost 20,000, that adds, and it's not, necessarily in the budget,
But then a national trend is
is down.
not having kids,
Yeah.
or having 1 or 2, and
Yep.
who knows?
Do we have any move-outs that we know of?
I'm sorry,
Move-outs?
not that I've seen at this time. When we get
Do
our
we
first.
actually know when we get a move-out?
Yeah, you will get enrollment, we get enrollment reports from both of the high schools, and they tell us what their running numbers are and what they've had in and out. So we definitely will
So
get
if-
that.
If I'm going to high school and I drop out, does the high school, is there any required notification, or just all of a sudden, Mr. Eads doesn't show up anymore?
Well, no, I think, I think some of it is, that students may select another school, or, they may move, so it's that kind of thing,
Still not easy.
yeah. You don't see as many move out typically, but we do, yes, we capture it in our data.
On to the town stuff.
So, I have a question, because Ellen, it looks like we have, unless I'm missing something, it looks like we have 4 sheets.
Yes, there were,
Well, you know, maybe I didn't get that packet of paper.
one for highway, one for police, and then 3 for the rec department. And most
No,
of
I
those-
got it online, but no. Do you
I
have
want
another packet, Ellen, by chance? I just had the school here. Oh, I didn't, well, I've got it all online, but I like to write all over it, you know? Thank you very much.
And they're all, it's photocopied front to back, so
Thank you.
they're blended in.
So my question is, if we've only got 4 sheets from the town, and this is supposed to be going out to 2030, how valuable is a discussion on it tonight?
Probably not much. I mean, it's, might be okay to discuss these items, that way we can be done with them, and
Most of, well, yeah, I mean, we have to carry out to,
see what they're, and we know we're gonna get more from the school too. So what do we got? We got the,
I mean, I wouldn't mind just reviewing, what it's just
Grader.
police. and-
Yeah, it's a grader.
most of these are, they're already included. There was 3 new ones that were submitted from rec. The grader was just an update that was already proposed for 2026. And then the police department cruiser, that was out there as a placeholder going through 2029 at an approximate 3% increase per year. But realistically, you know, based on the cost of the cruiser that we purchased this year, she decided to bump it up, and then if we follow that 3% trending pattern forward, it would adjust subsequent years. But outside of that, I mean, most of this stuff has already been earmarked through 2029. We just have to carry forward additions to expendable trust funds, capital reserve funds, and
But do we have sheets from previous years that align with these?
what you
Do we-
need the additional columns, we can open them up within the workbook.
sorry?
We can open them up within the workbook. The columns are just hidden.
So, all right, so we're not gonna get an extra sheet for, we won't get a sheet for each cruiser. I mean, is that what you're saying? I mean, it probably doesn't make sense
No,
to
I
do,
mean,
but,
John, if you look at like Public Works,
yep,
right? There's items that go out to, so all we got from Public Works
Right,
is the grader. But look at all the stuff that's on there
On
between.
the sheet,
right,
yeah.
right, there's stuff, yes.
And they may be forms that were submitted before.
Right, and those are the ones that I had emailed over. Did you not get them on Saturday?
I didn't get
There was
anything.
like a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there were 22 attachments that came on Saturday.
Yeah.
So what and that, those are what I was gonna try to print out, but because
Okay.
we don't have toner,
Oh,
Okay,
that's
all
the
right.
challenge. So I think probably the easiest way, what I will do is I will clump those, I'll combine them all as one PDF. I'll put them in order by year of submission.
okay, yep, a year,
Great.
yeah.
So Ellen, goes back to when I was a select person.
Yes.
I don't have an email from you.
Excellent. So what I might do, and this is what I've done with the budget committee, I will create a group and share the documents within like a OneDrive or a Google.
Yeah, that's actually would be
That would be
good.
great.
that would be good.
I just sent it.
What's that?
I just sent it.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Sue.
I did have it, and I looked at it, and I said, oh my God, I can't read all this.
Well, it was topic of years
Right,
past
right,
and
and it was-
things that either didn't, you know, they're on the plan or, and they were unsuccessful in getting town meeting vote or ballot vote rather.
Just drag them
Right, I
around.
mean, yeah, I did a perusal of what they were and said, okay, yep, these are things.
And that's
we'll
what
be
I
talking about.
tasked the department heads off with. I said, I know that you've already done a lot of future forecasting, but prices that we received 5 years ago aren't gonna hold today.
Just
So those are
don't
the
cut
things
it.
that we need to look at as we're updating the plan.
Right, that's the idea, they update it every year based on the best information available.
So what we have on this worksheet, are those numbers updated or not?
Yes, so for 2025, and even for 2024, I put in red and did a strike through for the items that were unsuccessful.
Yeah.
And we need to determine whether those are gonna carry forward to 2025 or future years. As you go down the 2025 column, anything in blue is something that you have a new sheet for or an updated sheet for.
Oh, okay, great.
The yellow are things that the department heads are either not seeking or we've decided to remove, like the flooring replacement
Yeah.
at the fire station. We've determined that we can,
Is it under police?
really strip that and get a couple of good coats of wax to preserve that for a while longer. The baler, we know $16,000 probably is not going to suffice for
What we
a
actually need.
replacement.
Yeah.
I think those, and then obviously the rec department added their 3 new walking path upgrade, which is this path that goes from the rear gym doors out to the playground, making that ADA compliant. The van replacement, she upgraded that based on a used similar vehicle that they would be looking for. And then the addition of a picnic / shade area out here next to the rear of the community center.
I thought the van replacement has been,
It's been on there, but it was at a $30,000.
yeah, but now they're looking to an additional van, not a van replacement.
Well, they are.
Did I read that right?
No, I
It would be, it would be a replacement.
I think they turn in the van.
But they've got-
They have.
This one
Yeah,
is
it's
attached.
That was just as an example of something. We know that we wouldn't be able to purchase a 12-plus passenger van new without a price tag of $80,000+. So they're looking for something reasonably used. So what we would do is we would probably put out the existing van for sealed bid, or if we could purchase from a dealership that would accept it and trade, we would use that.
So this, I think, Jean, what you're getting at is that maybe you wanna look at the language on that.
Yeah. On the-
Yeah.
on the-
And the-
Yeah, I think that, because it says acquire an additional
Yes,
van.
Oh, yeah.
And it does say below it, I would like to keep.
Similar to the
existing
school
one.
in the
thing.
narrative,
2 vans.
Oh.
Yeah.
the
Okay,
van
yep.
is exactly what we needed,
It does say with 2 vans, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
because on the
Yeah.
worksheet, it says replacement.
with 2 vans, it will help the field trips, yada, yada, yada.
Acquire an additional used 15-passenger van. So the original one was to replace, this updated one is to add a second.
Oh, okay. So on our worksheet.
No, the worksheet should be,
The worksheet does say, the worksheet says
Replacement.
van replacement.
So it needs to be updated to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Second van.
yeah.
that's different.
That is different. So they don't have
So-
anything past 2025, I guess, because that, the yellows, you said is
Yeah, they-
goes away.
Correct.
Right.
With our,
I gotta make my, sorry, I need a legend. Yellow is
Is
no longer
removed.
removed.
I did add a note section all the way to the right that kind of explains.
I love the color coding, thank you. It's so
My
helpful.
toner cartridge didn't like
So
it though.
blue is
But I love
new,
it.
blue is new,
Blue is new.
blue is new. Thank you.
Yellow was
Red
removed,
is-
red failed.
red is failed.
Actually, I think down at the bottom it says.
So they have nothing, they project
After?
nothing after 2025?
That's correct.
Huh,
Rec.
yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah.
So that needs the modification of,
So I think I probably have to be clear in my request to them that we need them to look out to 2030 and,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's, yeah, good point.
yeah.
it's not just next year.
Right.
And also that line, you're gonna add another line for van purchase? Van,
Right, so it probably should be a new line, the old ones, yeah, or
Well, the
whatever, I guess it
van-
could be changed.
Just
Van
change it up.
replacement.
It could be just changed to van.
Yeah,
Yeah.
second van or something like that.
Yeah, the van replacement should be on there, it's 2010, so it does have, is that on that other sheet that shows the life of the vehicles?
Yes.
What do we show for that?